Hi everyone, welcome Tech Pro channel. I'm Michael and I'm shooting this video, recording voice and visual with the new Eken Alfawise H6S, marked as a 4K plus. I don't really know why. Well, this happens to be the very same camera as the original Eken H6S, and I think a very good reason for us to find out more about its capabilities. And happy first snow, by the way. Let's go.
Subscribe.
This is how an action camera should be packed. Why so little models have that kind of packaging? Why? I mean, the fancy cardboard boxes are a waste of material. With this carrying bag, you just use everything. And it is protected and it is tidy. A great strength of the H6S. Luckily, not the only one. Alright, let's go on topic and talk about this action camera. It's a small little device, but despite that it holds a lot of computing power, and with a bit of patience and experience you can produce some really quality footage. You know what? I have reviewed this camera already, sort of 8 months ago. That's funny. Back then, it was the end of the winter, now it's the beginning. And indeed, this camera is manufactured by Eken and branded as Eken Alfawise. And Alfawise is a brand that often is advertised on the popular website gearbest.com, with my gut telling me that they have something in common. It's the second Alfawise related action camera. And in fact, it looks like Alfawise have listened to the feedback of the community. Everybody was asking for image stabilization, and now we've got it. This camera is among the best 6 action cams of 2018 in my opinion, and if you haven't seen the chart, it's about time to do it. Let's finally have a closer look inside this overhyped case. Yep, nicely tidy and very functional. There's space for everything necessary. There even is some room to add extra accessories. Unfortunately, my most favorite and important accessory doesn't really fit. This, by the way, is called the UFO tripod by PhotoPro. Bends in any direction, and I've customized it by adding 360-degree head for even greater functionality. Neither GorillaPod nor GoPro Shorty can give me the steadiness and awesomeness of this. And I'm using this gimbal most of the time, also for most of the scenes shot with the H6S. Besides the many accessories, it is fair to highlight the hardware specifications. For the geeks, Panasonic image sensor with Ambarella A12 chipset, 1050 mAh battery and 170 field of view lens. Translated into understandable language, true 4K supported, a relatively fast processor, very wide-angle lens producing fisheye effect, or for some people it's more like a defect, and about 50 minutes of shooting time at the highest resolution. The specs are quite good, and right now this is among the most tempting true 4K action cameras which support image stabilization and have a lot of accessories. If you follow the channel on a regular basis, you know that I'm not the biggest Eken supporter and fan, but there are many things that they do good and right. Very nice build quality, a bit of metal on the body, which gives it nice feeling, and is also an effective heat disposer. The main display is 2-inch and with excellent viewing angles and brightness, and there is a second display on the front. It is LED based and well visible in daylight, which is very important. There is however no way to turn it off while shooting, which is not that nice. We have 3 different video shooting resolutions, 4K, 2.7K and 1080p. There is no 720p and no resolution that shoots in more than 60 frames per second. If you need an action camera for slow motion, this ain't it. The chipset can actually process 120 FPS, and we've seen that on SJ7 Star by SJCam, or the Firefly 8 SE or the TI T5e, but they all have one other thing in common: that the Eken Alfawise H6S doesn't. They use the Sony IMX117 sensor, which supports higher frame rates. The Panasonic sensor inside the H6S doesn't support 120 FPS. It is not a deal breaker because the quality of 120 FPS on most of the action cameras, except GoPro and a few others, looks pretty bad. Another strength of the H6S is the image stabilization. It is available at the highest resolution at 25 FPS and not 30 frames per second like it is for Full HD. This is again because of the sensor used, and there also will be a slight color difference between the stabilized and non-stabilized quality. The 30 FPS seems to use 12-bit color, while it's just 10-bit for the smaller frame rate. Perhaps 95% of the human population won't make a difference between both samples. There's a remote, quite a nice addition. I never use remotes though. If there's the need to make a photo and there's no easy way to reach the camera, it has Wi-Fi, so just use the app, connect from your mobile phone, and you're done. It can even help you to compose the frame in a better way. And there's no surprise that the app being used is the same that is used for Eken's non-Alfawise branded cameras. To discuss the image quality, I've chosen various scenes, and the performance of the H6S is satisfactory, even surpassing the expectations. It won't be a surprise to say that all the footage you can see in the non-Alfawise model has the same characteristics. It is crisp, not too much of noise, okay stabilization, good colors, and picture is nice and sharp. The shooting modes, however, are not many. There's burst mode, people almost never use it, time-lapse video, and time-lapse photo. Are you expecting to hear something more? Except changing the resolutions and adjusting the exposure, that's all. No car modes, no long exposure, no way to stop stabilization on Full HD, no way to turn off the front display. You may wonder, why should I want to stop electronic image stabilization? Well, in dark areas, electronic image stabilization causes a lot of artifacts, and you may reduce them by stopping EIS and using a gimbal instead. Which means that the H6S is not gimbal friendly unless you decide to shoot at 4K with 30 FPS, the only resolution which has no stabilization. Weirdly, Eken produced two kinds of cameras, the first kind without stabilization and the second kind without the chance to stop the stabilization. But that's their take on the subject, and perhaps there's a reason behind this decision that I cannot figure out yet. While obviously the firmware is not rich on options, whatever the H6S can do is being done in a quality way, especially looking again at the sub-$90 price tag.
Test of the audio quality. It's gonna get quiet in a moment, some bikers around. Yeah. Besides of the good video footage, it also records audio pretty decently, not perfect, but it can be improved a lot in post-production. There is no port for external microphone, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately. Well, anyways, if you use an external microphone, it's still better to connect it to something like this. Right now, I have a lavalier microphone here attached to somewhere here, and that is being connected to this very highly portable system with the Zoom H1 recorder, because it does capture the audio in a much better quality as opposed to most of the action cameras anyways. And if you're a vlogger, you're going to do a lot of post-production no matter what. To sum it up, the H6S is great for people that mostly want to shoot at 30 and 60 frames per second and want true 4K and don't expect pro-like features. Excellent video quality, good battery life, well-visible display, app control, remote control, and the most useful kind of packaging in the world. That is the Eken Alfawise H6S as reviewed by the Tech4All channel. Until next time, make sure to do a lot of good things. And you can start by doing something good for me, a like,
some feedback. You know, it will be good to read your opinion in the comments, and it's always nice to make some new friends. Have a great day and see you soon!